Ladies and gentlemen, live from T-Briz Studios, it's the Adult Baby Show.
I'm a sweet boy.
I'll let a girl suck any part of me. I mean, honestly.
It's just in my mouth, just.
Oh, like, I'll try anything once.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Except getting to work on time.
You just ruined my day. Fuck your day.
Oh, let's get the feet involved.
It's not a nut. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud with you.
Some people
Yeah.
are absolutely
Uh-huh.
disgusted by me.
He ain't lying.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 254. I am B.
Chick.
I'm Ryan.
Who are you?
Do I just say my name or do I get intro? I'm a special guest. I should have an intro.
You are a special guest. Guys, give it up for Mr. John Ziegler.
Hey, applause.
There's applause on
I'm gonna
that.
put applause in here. I'm not
Your
gonna do
second
that.
appearance.
The first one doesn't count because my audio was bad.
All right. Yeah,
scrapping
no,
it.
it
This
wasn't
is like a
great.
do-over.
So we're going to do the whole...
Do that whole thing again.
Yeah. How you doing?
How long ago was that?
I don't know.
It's a while ago already. I'm coming a year ago already.
No.
Close to it,
It
right?
was 2022 for sure.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Was it like unlistenable audio?
It was in and out. It was okay, but yeah, a lot of me cut out.
Yeah, it was
It wasn't
pretty
great.
unlistenable.
And just you? Just your mic?
I think it was just my mic.
That's not what you want.
Yeah. I think, listen, we didn't always
Wasn't
have
one-
a producer.
I think the Adult Baby Podcast might have been trying to censor me. I think they were censoring me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we don't like cancer talk on this podcast.
Yeah,
We
no.
think
Did
it's
I have
yucky.
cancer then?
So
Oh yeah, I was full
yeah.
cancer then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good episode. It was good in the room, but listening
to
back.
be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's new with you? I saw you in Newsday recently. My dad sent me a text right away. My dad's a huge fan of Ziegler, by the way.
Ryan's parents are two of my. Brendan's
Yeah.
parents are two of my biggest fans.
Yeah, they are. They like him more than they like me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are the odds that your own parents are going to be your biggest fans?
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
I did a show in Farmingdale at a nice venue, and Brendan was emceeing, and I walked into the restaurant, and his father was ordering food, and I thought he was there for the show. He was getting takeout, and then he left.
Food to go. Food to go. It was a
I
packed
just assumed
room.
you're there for packed room, like 130 people.
I'm like, it's kind of a big deal, I don't know.
You can't be that big a fan if you didn't stick around and see the show.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't. Yeah,
He was hungry.
Yeah.
It was such a weird choice that they would go to the same place I was performing that night to order food to go. I still I asked them about it like the next day, and they're like, "Yeah, that is kind of weird. Come to think of it, sorry." I was like, yeah, it's all right.
So Newsday was cancer. We got a cancer. I'm so cancered out.
Cancer.
So I spoke for Northwell Hospital. Cancer Survivor Day. It was like 1,500 people, and they had a press tent. It was really weird. Like they literally had reporters from News 12 like asking me questions.
Yeah.
You talk for there's like 20 minutes of interviews, and they air about 6 seconds
Yeah.
of the interview, literally.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was like whatever.
What'd you have to do? Were you making like a
Speech.
A speech?
Yeah, I did
How
like
long?
20 minutes about.
20
I did
minutes?
19 minutes. I did cancer. I did like a lot of my act. I did all the cancer jokes.
I was gonna say how much of the act went into
Oh,
that?
it wasn't a speed. It was a set.
I did both.
Okay.
I did get emotional a little bit. It was weird because all my surgeons and oncologists and doctors were there and nurses. And, it does choke you up. My whole family came. I had like a VIP table.
Yeah.
So I got a little choked up. But you know me. I'm kind of dead inside. So I did muster some tears for.
I would love to see
Attention.
that. Is there video available of this? Can I see you? Can I see you choked up? Is what I'm
No, they
asking.
didn't show any of that on News 12. I thought they would. That's why
I've actually been meaning to ask you guys because I'm always curious if you guys are easy criers. Yeah, you
I
an
am
easy
very
crier?
easy.
Yeah.
No, because I am like him. I'm pretty dead inside. But I used to be very sensitive. I am more sensitive, but I don't cry.
You know.
when
yeah.
I'm alone, I cry a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in front of people. It's hard for me to cry in front of people.
Why is that? Is it
I don't know,
think that's-
vulnerability or
Yeah.
weakness?
It's a
Unless you're-
it's a vulnerable
yeah.
thing, and I'm an easy cry. I cry just about every day. I cry at something, even if it's like usually it's like something happy that I cry at.
Yeah, me too. A lot of happy stuff. But
Yeah, a lot of
sometimes
happy cries.
sometimes it's like a Ford commercial that gets me the right.
yeah.
I'm like, oh,
I'm a
Jesus
sucker for
Christ.
I'm a sucker for happier things that like I see that are like sweet things that I'll tear up on. But yeah, I usually don't cry, and then I bottle it up and break it out into like an anxiety attack.
But it feels good once you give into it. It feels good.
I cried at the end of Breaking Bad.
Did you
Wow.
really?
Oh,
weird.
yeah. I sobbed at the end of Breaking Bad.
I don't remember.
Wait,
the
I'm
last
trying to think. Was
episode.
Breaking Bad a Savi ending?
Yeah.
Walter White died. They played Crystal
Oh, that's
Persuasion.
true.
And he died,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
Like, but plus, I binged it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I watched that during the pandemic, like much later, and I binged it. And then when it ended, I felt like I lost all my friends. I was like, what do I do? They're gone.
It's so. I want to be like an advocate for men crying. Like I want to feel like men should really lean into crying. And then he tells me that, and I'm like, that's fucking weird, dude.
Immediately.
Like that, like-
he tried to get me to open up and then judge me immediately.
No, because like, and I cry. It's just that specific thing that you're crying at. I'm like, really? That like, I don't think I cried ever once in that whole show. But whatever gets you.
Well, you guys know my whole backstory, which was pretty emotional. I was basically dying.
Yeah.
And I cried once
Done the whole thing.
in front of anybody. By myself, I cried plenty of nights in bed. But
Yeah.
Like sad cry.
no, I saw. And so,
Like-
I was in Pennsylvania with Dawn. She was working from home,
Pennsylvania.
and I was in the middle of chemo. I mean, I was really sick, and I got these like hot flashes. My stomach was killing me, and I was in the bathroom. I put a towel around my waist, and I crawled to the bedroom because we had central air, and I put my face on the comforter for cold, and I was just like, I couldn't do it anymore. And Dawn walked in the room, and I just started crying, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's my last treatment. And then she teared up and didn't know what to say. And immediately, I shoved it back down. I was like, why'd you cry in front of her? I was like, you made her feel bad. And that was the only time I cried. And then,
But you realize that probably made her feel so much better that you were open enough to cry in front of her. Like that's
she wants to see it sometimes.
of course.
yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, but we want to feel like I don't want to cry in front of you because I don't want to make you feel bad. That's what the person in your life is supposed to be. The person you can cry in front
It
of.
is, but then you're like, she don't know what to do. Like she felt helpless.
She didn't know what to do because you were crying. Like if it wasn't already established that John doesn't cry, she would have been able to roll with it. But she's like, something's way off.
Yeah,
here.
if he's
Like,
crying, it's bad.
Also, he was crying on his own headshot pillow, which is just sadder for some reason.
Makes it sad. Hugging my headshot pillow. And then I cried. The last day of chemo, you ring a bell.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
a big thing.
That
When you
would
finish
get
chemo,
me.
you ring a bell. It has like a poem, and you ring the bell 3 times. And I kept telling people I was going to rip the bell off the wall. I kept in there. I'm like, nurse, you know how to spackle? Can you spackle? And that was too weak. I just rang the bell 3 times. I'm like, let's get out of here, please.
Yeah.
And we got to the car and said, I was so sick. We sat in the car and we didn't talk for like 10 seconds. That I just went like I was, and I put my hands in my face. Like I covered my face. And then she cried.
Yeah,
We didn't say a word for 40 seconds. We just both cried.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get something bland like a bagel. You want to eat? We just left the hospital and got bagels, and never to be talked about again.
The craziest thing is I've never seen you be silent for more than 40 seconds. So
It's in 12 rounds of chemotherapy.
we were silent for a whole 40 seconds.
Yeah, that's an eternity.
I love you, Ziegler.
I've
You're
never
the
done
best.
like a Harvey Keitel and Nicolas Cage wail. I've never been like, like one of those cries.
Yeah.
I don't do
it's,
those.
It's like a muffle, like holding it because you
If I do it, that's what happens because mine is always held in so much, and I don't do it on purpose. It always just comes out either an
it comes out.
anxiety
It's
attack
an
or
ugly cry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
There's such a great, I hate to say great Dane Cook. People should love a Dane Cook.
I think he used to be a great
He's
comic.
a very reasonably good comic. But he has an old bit about when you cry and it's such a good bit.
Yeah.
About when you cry alone in your apartment and you just find that phrase, that one phrase, where you just cry to me. He's like, I tried my best. I tried my best. I tried my best. And then like your father calls you, you're like, hello? It's a really funny bit.
That's
I
funny.
mean, I probably haven't heard it in 10 years. So I don't
That's
really,
funny. Yeah.
what happened to him? Did
He just put out another special, but just
Shot it
on
from his
YouTube
house.
or something like
He's
that.
still around.
But I
from
just
his
feel like
house.
he was like really riding high, and then it was just
He was the biggest comic in the world for a little while.
yeah, and then it
Selling
just
out like
stopped
the
though.
garden.
Yeah.
It was no like gradual fall. I just feel like I stopped
Well, here's
seeing
the thing.
him.
What we call stopped means like, poor guy.
Yeah.
He's only selling out 5,000 seaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing quite
He's
well.
doing fine.
But he's still doing comedy, obviously.
Yeah.
I thought he did
just
movies.
because he's not the biggest comic in the world everywhere doesn't
Yeah.
mean he
And
just
I haven't seen anything he's done in a while. I don't know if it's.
That's
good,
why
but-
I haven't seen any specials. I haven't seen his
He was
face
actually
anywhere.
a movie star also. Though.
Yeah, I thought he quit for movies.
I mean, try. They made the attempt. I don't
Made
know
the
that.
attempt.
I
Yeah,
don't
when
know
he
Yeah,
was
there
a
was-
star.
I don't know that he made the switch over.
There was one movie I thought was pretty good, but I only watched it once.
I'm dying to know what it is.
It's,
Was it
it's
Costco?
which
Was it
one?
one like it took place
Employee
in like
of the
Costco?
Month?
No.
Is that what it's
Okay.
called? With Jessica Simpson?
No, it was like him and Kevin Costner,
Oh, he's a serial killer. Somebody was a
No.
serial killer.
something like that. I haven't seen it in
Yeah.
maybe 10
Was that
15 years.
Mr.
Mr.
Robert?
something. Mr.
No,
something.
Mr. Robbins or
Mr.
Robert.
Postman.
Mr. Something.
Yeah,
But he that was a dramatic role.
Mr.
Though.
it was, and it was pretty good in the dramatic role. That
He had a
whatever
small
it was.
part in Waiting, which is
That
very
was the
funny,
only thing
which is
I
a very
liked him. It
funny
was the
movie.
Oh,
cook.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's Waiting, which
I wasn't
like
gonna
that
say
movie.
Waiting.
I only just there's one line in that Employee of the Month that I still think about like pretty frequently.
What is
There's
it?
just like a gay.
Frequently.
There's a gay guy that's he was like closeted gay guy, and the times were different then, so they making comments about this guy's gay, whatever. So he said at some point this gay guy said a reference to it talking about vagina, and he goes, "Yeah, and it's real pink," and Dane Cook just goes, "Good guess."
It's funny.
Yeah,
I just watched Torgasm. Did I say this on the podcast
I
already?
don't think so. No,
Robert Kelly.
Yeah. So like,
Gary Goldman is the name. But you could pick up. Yeah,
Yeah, who would have
it's-
thought that?
I
Guy's
know.
a comedy genius.
Robert
on
Kelly.
Torgasm.
So it's on Max now, which is the new HBO.
Yeah.
So like, I remember watching it when I was younger.
I remember that.
And I was like, I like it. So I was like, let me watch this again now that I've been doing comedy. And man, it is so cringy. Like
Yeah.
some of the first the yeah. So it's Robert Kelly, Gary Goldman, Dane Cook is the headliner, obviously,
And some guy nobody's ever
and some
heard of
guy
again.
that
Well,
no
Dane
like
started with, I think.
Yeah.
He's Dane's buddy.
yeah, Dane's guy, and he just like it was awful. Like the stuff he was doing was so bad. Like it's that whole like early 2000s stuff.
What I love about that though is that Gary Goldman is a genius in my opinion. And
Gary
he
Goldman
went
is one of the top comics in the
So
world.
great.
and in that show he went through kind of like a crisis. Like he
did?
like saying like I'll never be funny again. I'll never write a new joke again. And like I remember I felt that before.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
think
like,
how
the
far
fact that
Gary Goldman was probably like 7-8 years in the comedy. Then.
Yeah.
yeah, I
It was
mean
like 20 years
No,
ago.
he
that
he
show.
was already.
he was on Last Comic Standing already.
I think
by
they
that point.
already they talked about that in so. At the end of the series, I binged the whole thing. I actually really liked it. But
Jay something, the other guy's name
Jay
was.
Davis.
Jay Davis.
yeah. Who's still doing comedy, but I think he ran that show Dublin's in
He had a connection in Boston. He did
Yeah.
something for. He used to be nice, give Dane stage time and stuff
yeah,
like
but
that.
he was young. He was really young when that aired.
Why do you think I'm nice to all the open micers?
Yeah, I know.
Just in case, by some off shot, one of these people becomes successful. Like Ziegler, I think he threw me on
Yeah.
his open mic.
It pays to help out. But yeah, it was really interesting. But you could see like Gary Goldman is who he is today.
Yeah.
But just like
You can
not
see it then,
as,
though?
and still and Robert Kelly too.
Goldman or
it's-
Goldman?
Goldman.
Goldman, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
And the idea of him performing for a Dane Cook crowd is really
I
funny.
know.
Because now he's really cultivated his own audience.
Yeah.
Is not a Dane Cook audience.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
I love there's an episode of that when, what's his name, Jay Davis?
Jay Davis.
When Jay Davis wants to try this new joke and Dane just like eggs him on. He's like, Dane's like, go do the joke, don't do it. And he goes out there and he bombs.
Bombs
And
horrifically.
he comes off, he goes, you know what happened was, he's like, we did the thing. And he goes, yeah, that was the problem. He basically just laughed watching him bomb.
Was crying in that. Robert Kelly cried in that. And he broke his knee.
Yeah.
Broke my knee, man.
Broke my knee, man.
It was big on O&A. They used to.
He
do
was
that.
good in the Joe List film.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Robert Kelly was very
4th of
good in
July.
He was. Bob Kelly was great in this too. It's like you could see who was like, all right,
Yeah, he's
these
fun.
guys have something here.
Yeah, they were all good.
You know?
Did you ever do a podcast with Bob Kelly?
I
I forgot.
I'm gonna bring it up whenever his name gets mentioned.
Yeah, during the pandemic, we were doing this podcast, and Kelly was on it. But my internet went down. The second my internet went down, Bobby Kelly took my place. So him
And it was me,
So it's chick.
the podcast host, and Robert Kelly. And I fucking I'm not even the comic. He's like, who the fuck is this guy?
and
He's
you
like,
all
what's
been
up, Bob Kelly?
yeah, I hosted. You featured. And I also did a show. I've done a couple weekends with him, and one of the weekends was me, Joe Curry, and him. Not a bit of hair the whole night on
hilarious.
stage.
Wow, no hair at all.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's not exactly like.
Yeah.
yeah. We were different than we were three heavy, bald white guys. You brought a little bit something different to the table. Well, I mean, Joe Curry brings something different to the table.
Yeah, he does.
So, cancer.
Yeah.
All right, that's nothing but cancer. You want to bring up my.
What
This is
I
a good
want.
time? This is a good time?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think this is the
So-
time to bring up the email.
So you guys have known each other how long? 15
I
years?
met Ryan at my first open mic ever at the Governor's Comedy Club.
Well, you had done comedy before, though. You just said you did stuff in San. Didn't you do a set like in
I
San
did
Francisco?
one set at San Francisco.
Oh,
at a bar.
really?
Yeah.
One set, San Francisco
One
bar.
open mic in San Francisco at a bar.
Jeez, what
No,
was
I
going
had really nothing. I did 2 open mics in like 1990.
Okay.
And then I took like 10 years off or 12 years off. I did one open mic in San Francisco. And then I went to Governor's and did a bringer show when I was 40 years old.
Right.
And Ryan was there.
Yeah.
And he sent me an email, which somehow I sent it to Dawn. I was so excited because I thought you were funny. And I was so like enamored by comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and this guy Ryan, he was really, really funny on the show. He sent me this email. And I sent it to Dawn.
Yeah.
Like I got validation. And she saved it. I didn't have it.
Oh, that's really
The
sweet.
entire trip here, we're trying to find this email.
I'm typing into my email and I'm like, you know me, technology.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ryan. I'm like, Brooke. I'm like, Ryan Brooke.
It was an email or it was like a Facebook message?
was an email.
Or was
And me and
Facebook
Chick
around
are
then?
trying to
So I
like.
just
look-
called Dawn from the car and I'm like, Dawn, do you still have the Ryan Brooke email? I can't find it. And she
so
sent
funny.
it to me.
All
I
right.
haven't read it.
All right.
I didn't read it
Can
to
we
the
read
rest
it?
of
Oh my
Can we
God.
hear
This
it?
This is embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
I'm
this
so
is what you
excited.
guys do to me?
Yeah,
I
no,
feel
it's
like-
gonna
I
be
feel
good.
like-
It was
I
a
feel
nice email. I mean, you want to know if I cried? I probably
I'm
cried
getting
when I got this
hucklebucked.
email.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not gonna
probably
lie.
cried. I hope you cry right now.
Full disclosure, I've also wrote a very similar. I don't know similar because I don't remember what I wrote here, but I also wrote the first time I saw Ricky Grimes. I wrote him an email afterwards.
Did you copy?
Really?
Did you copy and paste?
No, it was like custom made.
Yeah.
How long were you doing comedy then at this time? Probably.
I mean, you had done some.
Yeah. Well, this was a Governor's, right? Didn't we-
At Governor's.
Yeah.
It
So
was-
I didn't do Governor's first couple years of my
This
of
was
doing comedy.
2007.
So, yeah, I've been doing it a year and a half probably.
Oh wow. Okay.
That is crazy to me. 2007. June of 2007.
June of 2000.
June 20th. We have an anniversary coming up.
We're almost
Wow.
exactly a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this. I haven't read it.
All
I
right.
haven't seen this. And
Oh,
I'm
boy.
uncomfortable
Yeah.
for both of us right now.
I get to sit and relax in this one.
Yeah.
What's
God.
going on? It's good open.
What's going on?
This is Ryan Brooke from the show at Governor's a few weeks back. You waited a few weeks, like a dating.
Yeah, I
thing.
don't wanna be-
You're like, I
I
don't
don't
want
wanna
to
seem
be too,
thirsty.
I
Yeah.
don't be too, a few weeks is good. I've been meaning to email, but I'm really good at putting things off. Just wanted to see how you were doing. You had a great set, and I really hope you continue getting on stage. It was refreshing to see a new funny act. I see so many of the same guys over and over, and I didn't think most of them were funny the first time, let alone the 67th.
This is already a really good email.
Oh, accurate. Nothing's changed in 16 years, though.
Yeah.
You were truly funnier than most of these local comics that put all of their time and energy into it and get on stage every week. The fact that you are that funny and you don't even get on stage, that can only mean one thing. You're a natural.
Oh my God.
Let me know if you want to do
Who
any
did I think I was?
Wait, let me know if you want to do any open mics in the city, which are usually more painful than anything, but if you go with someone else, it can be enjoyable. Hope to hear from you soon. Ryan Brooke, ready for this? MySpace.com
Wow. Oh.
/Ryan Brooke made you laugh.
Wow.
MySpace
my
is
God.
where we're going.
Wow.
That's a very flattering email.
First of all,
Yeah.
that makes me like you even more than I already do.
That I took the time to
I
write
get
that
it because
email.
I've done what he's done.
Yeah, well, when you see somebody new that you were
because
like truly impressed with.
98% of open micers are mental
Yeah,
patients.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, and you see somebody who actually has a constructed joke. It was my first time on stage. I'm sure it wasn't good, but I'm sure I made an effort to actually. Have
Yeah,
some-
but you
I'm
could
sure it was
tell.
good.
You could
Yeah, the
tell
jokes-
somebody that's.
The structure.
Ricky Grimes was a good call because I'd say in the last 5 years, I can name about 4 or 5 people that stand out.
Yeah.
You know, you being one of them.
Oh,
I think
thank you.
Jack Adam. I'm always
Jack
impressed
Adam.
with Jack Adam every time I
Jack
see him.
Adam,
Yeah.
always write new stuff, original.
Yeah.
I think Christian Hahn has a lot of
Yep.
good stuff, and Ricky Grimes is definitely a guy where I look at him and it makes me like, ooh, 'cause, like if that guy had the stage time I had,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he'd be way better than me.
Yeah.
He's really
Ricky Grimes
has
is
a natural
great.
cadence. and
Jordan,
delivery.
like Jordan is.
Jordan
like,
was a
from
natural.
Jordan's
from
always
the
funny.
beginning. Yeah, but when he was new, you took notice. You know.
Yeah.
Chick.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He had, even though I'm like, this guy's got good jokes. They're original.
Yeah.
So those they don't come along often.
Yeah. Well, it.
So when you see
Thank
one,
you. Thank you for saying including me because you're on my podcast.
well,
but
I wouldn't have used you on.
That's
shows.
true, you have.
I don't do that for anybody.
But now I'm worried that like I was talking about the comics that I see all the time. So I'm looking back to see who are the comics I was
They're all
hanging out with all
gone.
the time.
Those guys aren't around.
And they're thinking like he never wrote me an email, so I must be the guy that he was talking about.
Yeah.
For the
yeah.
67th
Do
time.
you think the comics from 2007?
Well, I
are-
want to look at the camera and say, Tim Thompson, if you're watching this, I think you're funny. I just didn't write you an email.
You never wrote me an email either, but I
No,
wasn't
I
around in
never did, yeah.
2007.
I don't think Tim
think
Thompson has email.
No.
So unusual.
Yeah.
I used to write with him at the diner.
I'm
when I
also
first
not
started.
completely sure we speak the same language, Tim Thompson and I. Like, I think he's funny, but sometimes I have conversations and I go, I'm not sure we're both speaking
We
English.
have a different.
Yeah,
So I met Neil
Very
Rubenstein
possible.
through you.
sure.
We did
that
a
makes
show
sense,
at it.
yeah.
It was in Rockville Center. I don't know how I remembered it. I can't remember
Vibe Lounge?
yesterday. The Vibe Lounge.
Yeah.
The Vibe Lounge. I did Mike's there.
And
that
the headliner was John
Fish, yeah.
You remember that show?
Yeah.
That was like my first show out of a. I was like, whoa. It's
Yeah,
a big
I
deal.
tried a joke that night. I tried a cancer joke that night. Actually, It bombed. Yeah, about how people always say like, "Oh, we gotta fight for a cure for cancer." I'm like, but I know people that had cancer and now they don't. So don't we have a cure for cancer?
Funny.
Yeah,
It's very funny.
yeah. And then about how people, they thank God or like they get tattoos that have like the cancer ribbon and then it has like courage on it. I'm like, why don't you get what really saved your life? Get your doctor's name and a scalpel on your arm. That's like people just like if I was your doctor, I'd be so pissed. Oh, courage and the ribbon. That's what helped.
Yeah,
you.
that's what it was.
I
Yeah.
think that's why they cut my News 12. They would ask me questions. Like, so John, what do you think made the difference? And I'd just be like, I got lucky.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, no, they
is,
want-
You know,
Yeah, they don't
luck
want-
of
You
the
should have
draw.
got emotional on News 12. That would have been.
I should have cried on News 12.
You definitely a good cry on that would have been like, oh, look at this, and you say something about Northwell and then cry.
What year was that Vibe show?
2008, 2009. I was
Oh,
so
so
young.
that was still pretty early on.
So Neil I met, and Neil's
And
an
Neil-
interesting. I'm sorry. What?
No, Neil got mad at me because we booked 2 nights and I booked that night and I booked you and then I was reached out to John Fish, who I was a big fan of at the time, and still, I just don't see him. I'm sure he's still funny.
Was
Yeah,
he
no,
from
he's
Long
just-
Island, John Fish?
He's in
Queens?
the city. He's a seller guy.
Yeah, I know
yeah.
he's a seller guy. But
Yeah, and so I got him on the show, and I was very happy. But I paid him before the show, and he was like, never give the guy the money before he performs. Make him work for the money. But then he went up and did like an hour. Like he's just like
Yeah.
my comics are different. Like they are hungry for people to listen to them. They're not like anxious. Like, oh, I got my money. I'll get
So
off stage.
he's not
funny.
going to take
Remember
the
that
money and leave.
Yeah, exactly.
This
yeah.
just shows you how weird comedy is. That's when I met Neil, and Neil was doing like dark, edgier stuff back then, and it wouldn't always hit. And then he quit comedy for like I don't think he got on stage for like 6 years. Right?
Yeah,
long
about that,
time. And then he came back, and I'm like, what clicked?
Yeah.
Like what happened in that 6 year?
It's funny because so about halfway through that split of him not doing comedy, we met at Hooters. He said he's like, I'll meet you at Hooters behind the BJ's at for lunch at 1:00, whatever. And I remember I wrote back to him like, if anybody ever questions your from the bottom up success, he goes, keep this email to prove
That's the email you wanna be reading.
Started. Yeah. I started. Yeah, but he wanted to be even darker. He goes, I want to do like really dark stuff. And I was like, yeah, like that's not my style. I'm like, yeah, okay, you want to do that? That's good. But then he never did that. And then
Well, the first level darkness didn't go very well.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
then he
would
came
have,
back
he would have
and-
good shows, but he would hit. It was hit or miss. but
Something
he has
figured
some
out.
good
He
shows,
figured
yeah.
something out. It clicked, and he started. And he, Neil's a really, really good comic. So
I
was
met
like,
him I guess during that second run, because Neil was good the second I met him.
Yeah, I'm talking about Neil again.
I know. By the way, we went. Yeah.
Because I just find it really like people think like they know like this is easy. This guy, I go sometimes it just takes you a while to figure out because Neil has shit to say.
Yeah,
So it just took him a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
Not everybody was a comedic genius on day one, like
Yeah.
John Ziegler. Some of them
No.
worked for it.
Yeah. There was John
he got-
Ziegler, Ricky Grimes.
I wish you didn't stop now because all I hear about. Now, I saw you once recently and it was great, and now all I hear about you doing it back then. Like I'm like, I wish you didn't stop, and I could see.
yeah.
Well, the people who stop are the people who shouldn't stop. The people
Yeah.
that should quit, they never go away. And I mean that.
It's
like,
true.
Yeah.
Kel Cagno, there's a handful of people, Ricky Grimes, like all these really funny, talented people. And it could be because they're not mental patients.
That's
you have to
exactly
be a little
what it is.
crazy to try to be a comic. Like it's a really hard life. So
And you have to. Something's got to be missing in your life.
Something
like,
yeah,
you know,
like, you're always
can't
happy.
be. You can't be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I was. Like, people are like, oh, comics are damaged. I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty well rounded. Like, but my comedy kind of represented that.
But you understood, like, you know, I got a job and
Yeah.
life and stuff at the time. You're like, life is good. I don't need to. I don't want to do this shit. Like
Yeah.
you love comedy, but you're like, I'm
Yeah.
not running to open mics around New York City 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
So I understood it, but unfortunately, I'm cursed. I wish I could have chosen your path
Yeah.
and just had a normal life.
Do
and
you
not-
though?
The grass is always.
Yeah, I
greener,
wish if I was okay with it. I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
I was. It's a tortured life to do this.
I almost feel like being good though is the reason why they stop, because it's more frustrating when you're that good and let's say you're killing everywhere and it's just not, you know, the needle's not moving enough.
Well, there's politics to this, and there's a lot of,
Yeah.
and sometimes people are like, you never wanted to play politics. That's not you.
Well, no, and especially, you know, I know you don't mean politics as I mean, but I clash with everybody that's in the club. You know, politically, I'm a very liberal person, and I never felt like the people in the clubs, they were nice to me and stuff like that, but I always just felt like I was an outsider, you know, in the club. I just
Also, you refuse to be a hack. You're never a hack, so you're going to take.
I
risks.
think that they.
I'm not
had
saying they are.
non-hacks. Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
saying
that-
they are.
no,
I'm
but
just
I
saying
think
though, you had like, this is what I want to do, and
Drewson was like very cool about being like, try. He goes,
Yeah, yeah.
be,
Drewson's
you know,
awesome
be
that way.
inventive. Like try stuff. Like try crowd work. He was like, this is, you know, you've proven. You don't have to keep proving that you belong here. Like you know.
it used to make me feel bad because he would stop. He would come in and out. He would stop, but I was always like, I worked,
Yeah.
but I had to play. There's games. You know, you have to play
Right.
the games to work, and I was in a lot of schmoozing, and
Yeah, I took the comedy class because of your advice. You're like, just take the class. You'll get FaceTime with you know,
Drewson,
Drewson. He goes, you'll get to know. He'll
because
get
you're
to,
talented,
get
you
to know
work hard, so I'm like, he'll
So-
like you, and you.
Yeah.
It is that you got to do things like that.
Yeah.
But I would
Yeah.
do that sometimes.
And it was a good. The course was good. I got like a new set out of the class. I was. I
that's
thought
good.
about doing
Yeah,
it again.
no, it's
Yeah.
fun.
I don't like. People are always debating, can you teach comedy? I don't think you can, but I think that was like a productive.
You can
class.
help somebody.
Yeah.
If they don't have it, they don't have it. But you can
I think
help
it's
somebody
I think it's
structure
definitely a
jokes
good
and-
way to help structure and look at a different way of doing it.
But I would
Especially
do
if
all
you're new.
these business games that you have to play to get ahead and get booked, and then I'd come home and I'd feel so disgusting about myself because he had integrity and I feel like I didn't have any. I would go home after a gig in New York City and I'd check my email. I'd be like, nothing. Maybe it went to spam. I don't know. I haven't heard from him. It's been like 7 years. You can edit out the email if you have to. If it's
Well, it doesn't bother me.
No, no.
it's a nice email.
That's
Yeah, I got one email once that was really nice from Gary Veter.
Gary's a good dude and funny
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
So that
funny.
means something coming from a guy like that. It
Gary's
means something
so
to you.
funny.
And I think I stopped like shortly after that because I felt like that was all I ever wanted. Was like a good comic to make me feel like, oh, like I could do it.
What did
I
he
just
say?
feel like
it was along the same lines.
he
just-
he was very complimentary when he copied and pasted a booker who did so this was after I did Hot Soup.
oh yeah.
And the guy,
Oh, that
the
show
guy
he
helped-
used
the
to
guy,
run.
the guy who booked Hot Soup,
Irish
also
Exit,
booked,
right?
Yeah,
he also booked a show at UCB. It was very popular, Whiplash.
Whiplash.
Yeah,
God,
so he used to
you're
book.
bringing me back with these things.
He used to book that as well, and he was like, and he wrote Gary a nice email about me. Oh, Gary, great find. This guy was great. He goes, we love to have him on Whiplash, and I was like, that's all I ever heard was like Whiplash was like the
God.
best comedy set. And there was like 8 comics in the show. Every single person had late night credits except for me. So like I was really thankful for Gary to like he really helped me out by having me. But after that I was like I held my own. I had a great set. I had a couple people come up to me afterwards like oh my God, what's your name? And I was great. And I was like, okay, I did it. I was like I kind of felt like I just wanted
That's
to know that I
funny.
can do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think the whole time I just wanted to know I can listen, I can be a fan of comedy and when people ask me like I'm like, yeah, I've done it. Like, I can do that. Like, and I don't need to keep doing it. I just like.
I don't know
knowing
why
that
I need to keep.
That's
doing
the thing. I was just.
It's a bottomless pit that
Yeah.
you can't fill. I need it.
I have sometimes I have shows where I'm like, all right, I feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
I could do this, and it's not all the time.
Yeah.
But like, I need more of that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, all right, good, I could do this.
Yeah.
But
No,
like,
it doesn't end for me. And then when I do well, then I have to write a new set because I'm like, well, just because that set's funny, like it's one good set. That's like being a one-hit wonder. Now I got to show I
Yeah.
can recreate it.
That's. I
gotta
mean,
do- I gotta do it again.
As you're saying that, I'm realizing that's really why I quit because I I was resting too much on 35 minutes that I had.
So it
that I
was the
doing over
idea
and
of
over
like
again. I
creating.
was trying to write new jokes, and I could just never get anything to work. And then that was really.
Now, do you think that's because you get used to like a set that really works?
I just felt like I had 35 minutes that I was great. Like I could feel pretty good. Like not it would
You had a
bomb
good- you had a
occasionally.
good- you had a solid
It would bomb
35.
occasionally, but if people didn't like me initially, it would not be good. But writing a new joke that was to the level of those new jokes, I couldn't work my way into a new joke. Yeah.
Like I took this as a compliment the other day. Is there was this guy who used to push his kid in the wheelchair. I used to have a joke about it. He used to do
right.
marathons.
That's
His kid
right.
was like in a wheelchair, so the father would push the kid the entire he did like 200 marathons, and Ryan used to have a joke about it. And this guy did an open mic with 16 years ago. Saw the article in a paper and wrote me. He goes, "I thought about you. Remember you had the," and I go, "Why do you think about me?" And he goes, "You had that great joke about this," and I'm like. It was Ryan Brooks' joke. He goes, no. And he goes, you have to think about the Kia, the car of your dreams, the Kia. I go, it's all Ryan Brooks' acts. None of those are my jokes.
Oh, that's funny.
And he goes, you sure? I go, yeah, I'm pretty sure. One of my actors. That's him. But I
You
was
sure?
like, yeah, it's good that you thank you for thinking
That
about
happened
it.
at the bar too. I was sitting next to Chris Roach, and a guy came out of the audience and was telling, "Oh my god, I love that joke about the bathroom and all this." And he was like, and he didn't give me the credit of being like I was his joke.
Oh, he told Roach?
Yeah, this guy was telling Roach.
Roach just said thank you and kept
Yeah,
it.
he was like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." I think he didn't even know it was me. He just was like, "Oh, thank you." He just thought this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But yeah.
People don't know.
So I
remember,
must have a very forgettable face, but
I
the,
have it
the
also.
jokes, the jokes hit.
Yeah.
people don't know my name. They just address me by a bit. They'll be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Hey, money
Cancer?
guy.
yeah, you're the train guy. I used to have a
Train?
train bit about the Long Island Red. Like, you're train guy.
Hey, chicken parm guy.
Chicken pop. Then I became, for a little while, people would come up and they'd be like, hey, you're a Jew comic. I go, why do you think that's okay? They would say that to me, and I go, I'm not offended at all. I don't give a crap about it, but I was just
I've
kind of,
been-
it's a
I've-
weird thing to say.
It's a weird
I
thing to
would never
say.
think to say.
I've been in a lot of arguments about John Ziegler's comedy. I've had to defend John Ziegler.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Let me hear.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, this is
Well,
good.
I was dating another comic who you know about, and she hated everybody, and everybody hated her, but I liked her. And you got in an argument with her, a couple arguments with her, and she she just hated you.
Yeah, she hated me.
Yeah, and so she would try to tell me that, Mike, she would try to shit on your act. I'm like, you can say whatever you want as a person. I'm like, yeah, he's questionable as a human being. And I'm like,
I won't even defend myself.
yeah. I'm like, and everything she said, I'm like, I agree with you. Yeah, he's a little bit, he's questionable. Some of his morals are questionable, but he's a great comic. Like, I'll die on that. I'll die on that hill. Like, his jokes are great. And she would hate that I would defend your comedy. She goes, "Why are you defending this comedy?" I'm like, "Because it's good." Like,
Right.
I'm like, he's a shit person, but a great comic.
This is what I mean by my character is that's more important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, piece of shit, that Ziegler. Funny.
Yeah.
If you're like, what a good guy, man, the best guy in the world. Hey, comedy's maybe not his
and-
thing.
and-
I'd be devastated. I'd leave here so upset.
And you hear that about comics too. Like, just like that's like code word for comics. Like, oh, he's good. Like, oh, he's good. Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy. I'm like, okay, you're saying good guy. You're not saying
he
about his
funny?
comedy.
Yep.
You're not saying you didn't say he was a good comic. You said he was a good guy. So
I went
Oh,
on,
big
when
time,
I did, when
yeah.
I did Greg Stone's podcast.
Yeah.
He said that. He goes, I wanted to have you on, John. I know you were sick and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I met you at a Governor's like 8 years ago. I don't know Greg, really.
Yeah.
Worked with him a couple of times. But he's like, you made me feel so at home. You were such a good guy. And I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
He's like, nicest guy in the business. And I'm like, yeah, can I just be like a
Yeah,
piece of shit who's really funny? Like, I don't want to be the nicest guy. He goes, but that's more important. Because there's a lot of guys in this business that are just climbers and they don't. And I go, yeah, no, funny. I don't care about the other.
yeah.
Well, just from
It
my
can be
little,
both. I mean,
Yeah.
some people I feel like I've talked to B about this because I'm not a
What? Whoa! Don't blow it. Don't say it to the mic.
I'm not a comic.
Oh, you just blew
yeah.
it.
No, it's
Well,
all right.
All right.
Listen.
Did she already find out?
But we should.
No,
we
no.
need to
We'll
get
get
into
into that
this.
later.
get
But yeah, go ahead.
Listen, I'm
this
around
guy's-
enough. I'm like a half comic, but not really.
The problem is he believes he's a comic.
No, I don't. I know I'm not.
Well, the definition of a comic, like you ever hear
There is no
sometimes,
definition, yeah.
you ever
Yeah.
hear sometimes they talk
Especially
like
now.
just a comedic actor. I'm like, oh, he's a great comedian, and I'm like, all right, I guess yeah, he's a comedian, he's a funny actor, but to me, I'm just like comedian is like stand up comic,
Stand up
like,
on-
That's how I look. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like I'm awful. But
yeah.
now I don't even remember what was I gonna say. Oh fuck me.
being about
You
nice
literally
guy
forgot?
versus funny guy.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's it. I know. I forgot where I was going with it. But some people, I've noticed that some people I look at it as like a hang, and the only reason why they're doing comedy is to have something to do with themselves every night and hang out. There's nothing
It could be
about.
it could be a
at the
social
open mic-
aspect.
Yeah,
at the
it's like a
open mics-
social aspect, and it's not.
At the open mics, there's
There's
definitely
like a group of people that go to these open mics.
lot.
That's just
Yeah.
their social life.
Yeah, it's
They're
their
like-
social life.
Which
They
is
don't.
fine.
They probably
And
don't
there's-
drink. They probably don't, drink, or they don't go out. Like they can't justify just going to a bar.
Yep.
But they go hang out with these people, and it's I get that.
Yeah,
That's
and you could see though who's the ones working on bits constantly
Yeah.
and who are constantly changing and who was there to do it, have fun, but it's more of a social.
yeah.
Brendan had the mic
experience.
the other night. We had Wednesday night, and I happened to be in Farmingdale.
yes.
But I'm like, you know what? Those are my friends. I mean, I went for a social thing, a hang. I'm like, I'm not prepared. I've been running around all day. I go, I'm just gonna go and what I make it 2 comics.
I think you left right after my set.
I think he hosted. He's like, all right, let's get the show started. I'm like, good to see you again.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
I think you left as I was wrapping my set up. I'm like, all right.
Pretty much.
But like, what's the point if you're a comic? What's the point of being there if you're not practicing?
not
and-
working on
and
stuff?
working on something?
Well, yeah. If you're gonna get up, like,
Yeah.
it's always.
I
think
knew
it's
I
always,
wasn't going up that night.
It's
No.
always polite to hang out for a little bit. You get these comics. They go up and they run out of the room as soon as.
You should stay for at least 3 comics after your set.
Well, I was also curious what the rule
There
of thumb
should be a
is on
couple.
that.
But there's
It's
Wednesday night.
It's an unwritten rule.
It is an unwritten rule. But Wednesday night, there's a couple of mics. So, if you want to get out, watch the next couple of comics. Then you can leave. I don't care if people leave. Come back to the next mic. Just bounce around. If you're going to another mic, if you have something to do, get the hell out of here. I don't care.
I kind of enjoy it. I don't mind a train wreck comic. I can sit through probably more of it because I'm not around it a lot. But
Yeah.
I get excited if I walk in and Ryan's there or Neil is there, or who, depending on like guys who come down. Then I'm like, oh, I want to see what they're working on. Like I've actually
Yeah.
when Ricky Grimes was there.
That was my favorite part of doing the comedy for the 2 months, getting ready for the show, was seeing everybody else work, like the real comics working on their material. Like I was like in the mix for a little bit, watching everybody work on it, and then when you see them at a show, it's like I don't know. I enjoyed that whole aspect of
You
it.
know, this is cyclical. It's the cycles with this stuff, and you got a crew, and then some people drop off, new people come in. You get some waves where there's a good group of people sometimes. Like when the Belmore Bean was around, which is it closed during the pandemic, but there was a time there that it was like
Good comics. were
7 or
going
8
there,
good
yeah.
comics that would always be down there, and it was like fun to go. I mean, you have the mental patients also.
Yeah, there's
It's
always
like
going to be
whatever.
mental
But
patients.
sometimes they're enjoyable.
And they are fun, and that's what you need. Like even though comics that like aren't working on anything, they're just going to do this. It's like you need that. That's part of the mic.
It's like when you watch American Idol and then they bring out like the William Hung.
yeah.
It's like that. It's like
It's part of the show.
bring out the guy who's gonna just.
Well, I have just as much enjoyment watching somebody up there who has no business being up there.
Yeah.
Just as much as the person who has every right being up there
It
crushing.
sounds like nerdy to say too, but I love comedy so much that I like the process. Like I'm really love stand up and the whole because I know what it takes to write a bit and what the success was. It 10% if you're lucky. Like you just throw away so much material and how much work goes into honing this. And when I watch younger new comics, if I even if they're not doing well, I'm still enjoy watching the seeing if they're developing. You can sometimes see like they have something to say. They haven't figured it out. That he's funny. He just doesn't know what he's doing yet.
yeah.
And when you watch it kind of click and come together,
It's great.
I get a lot out of
can't
it.
wait
I
for
do.
that moment.
I watched
Yeah.
that with Jack. I've known Jack for a couple of years now. He's young.
Jack's a big one.
I watched Jack go from like doing these very abstract impressions of people, the characters more.
By the way, great dude. He's a great impressionist too.
Yeah, funny. He does.
But yeah, like just watching Jack become who he is and who he's gonna be. It is fun to watch.
Takes a while to find yourself. Just when I did that whole thing, I still didn't feel like myself, and like I want to go back out there with more original and like my own stuff and give it a shot. But like the fact that I didn't have an end goal, that I had an end goal, was why I was able to go up there for 2 months. And now that I don't, it's like I gotta like self
reason.
like
Yeah.
it's like
It's like dieting. You need a wedding or something.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
To work towards. Yeah.
I have a cruise.
Yeah,
in October. But it's really weird to see. Sometimes you see people come right out of the box, and you're like, "This guy's gonna be," and they just never develop. They just stay here.
just stay at
it's
that
like they
same-
flatlined. I'm like, "What happened? I thought it was gonna be so." And then there's other people you're like, "I don't know," and they shock you. Like I don't know Nate Bargatze. I've never met him.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite comedians. He's like a top 3 favorite comic of mine right now. I love Nate Bargatze, and I know guys who are good friends with him who said he like just bombed his first 5 years.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
Yeah, so I'm like, so other people watch, this guy ain't any good. I'm like, yeah, you watch.
Yeah.
Selling out 10,000 seaters. Because Nate has that very unique
I like his comedy.
I love his comedy. It's the kind of comedy I wish I'd like to do if I had my choice. It's just kind of like these weird life experiences that he writes about. They seem mundane, and then you watch them.
So good.
Here's a game I play with myself. He has a bit about going to like the continental breakfast at the hotel with the waffle with his friend poured the syrup on the waffle maker, which clearly happened.
Yeah.
And I watched that and I go, that's such a great bit. There's so many laughs through it. I go, if that happened, if I went with you and you did that, I'm like, what would I have written?
Yeah, what would you have
Like his
written?
bit seems so simple. It's not this the abbreviation of the state's Gary Goldman thing that's really complex. It's such a simple bit that's so funny.
You kind of do that though.
I do, but like not as good as Nate Bargatze, and that's what bothers me.
Just that bit he has about like driving down the road and seeing a
horse?
dead horse.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's
I've
one of my
never seen
favorites.
a horse asleep or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's such a good.
Yeah. You do a similar thing. Maybe you don't milk it as he just.
Well,
has-
that's what it is.
he
I
has
write.
such a slow cadence. He has that the ability for him to talk as slowly as he does and just embrace the
Not a lot of
silence.
not a lot of affect, not a lot of
Yeah.
inflection in his voice.
Yeah,
voice,
not
the
much
ac-
at all.
The accent helps.
He does a thing that I do. It's a coincidental thing. I've always done it, where you don't really finish a sentence at the end. He'll just be like, that's fun."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll just say fun. Like, that looks fun. What's that gonna be? That looks.
You know,
And he just trails off.
I
and
realize
I'm
I
like,
do
that
that.
says it all.
I realized I do that in my real life the other day. If I think the person knows where the sentence is gonna go, I just stop talking. Yeah.
It's a lot of trust in the other person.
Yeah.
You just let him fill in.
Yeah, like I was
her
helping my
fill in the
father
blanks.
like build a ramp, whatever, and I would just tell him like, you know, I'm gonna go change my shoes because, and like I feel like he knows I'm gonna go change my shoes because I don't want to dirty these shoes. Like he doesn't need. I was like, I'm gonna go change my shoes because and then I'm like, I realize I don't need to be like I don't need the rest of this. He doesn't need to know.
I did a show so bad. There's a place in Oakdale. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's called the Bourne Mansion
I went
Oh,
to a
yeah,
wedding.
on the
yeah,
water.
Yeah,
Oh my
really
God,
nice.
what a crazy! So me and Anthony DiDomenico do a show there, and the story was it was a wedding, which probably cost $250,000. And 10 days before the wedding, the kid pulled out. He told his father, he was like,
me and Neil did the same type of thing at the Larkfield Manor.
"Really?
Yeah.
Yeah." The kid pulled out like 10 days before the wedding. The
Really?
father's like, "Well, I can't get any of my money back."
Yeah.
So he threw like a wedding without the bride's family.
Oh wow.
Like everybody was in suits. They had a cocktail hour.
Wait, who pulled out? The
The,
groom.
the groom told the father. The father paid for the wedding. The groom told the father, "I can't go through with it." But the father's like, "Well, I paid for everything." He had a DJ and catered and
And it was like too late to like.
too late to get any money
Yeah.
back. So we just threw the party. And he gave all the money to like St. Jude's. It was like a really cool, like everybody who gave money, he donated everything to St. Jude's.
Oh wow.
After he paid off his thing, I would have like get my
I think
money
he has.
back
I
first.
think he has a couple of bucks. The guy.
Yeah. He's got money.
If you're booking a Bourne.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So this was one of those gigs where I went up and again, I get cocky sometimes. I'm watching D. Domenico. He's like, he's doing all right, but he's laboring. It's tough. It's not really conducive to comedy. It's 200-foot ceilings. You know what I mean? It's muffled. Nobody's listening. They're like, I'll have the filet mignon. And I'm like, I'm doing 20 minutes. So I go up and it got so bad that like when you look out and you could literally go, oh, they don't even know that I'm talking right now. I would be in the middle of a joke. I'd be like, you ever go to Dunkin' Donuts? And I'd be like, yeah. And I would just go into another joke. I'm like, especially if you have to do an act, I'm not a physical comic, but if you have to do an act out and nobody's
Oh,
listening
God.
to you, speaking into a mic when nobody's listening is humiliating. Acting out bits, but you're like doing
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I gonna? So I would
Yeah, I
just
mean,
be
there's-
midway through
yeah.
bits and trail off
Yeah.
and just start something new.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
And
just.
they wouldn't know it all.
This is how bad it was. I pulled my shirt up about 12 minutes into my set, and I go, "I'm dying of cancer." And they
This
all
was
went like
recent. I thought this was a while ago.
No, this was
recent.
like 6 weeks ago.
I thought this was like from 2009.
No, this was from May.
Oh my God.
So I pulled my shirt up. I'm like, I have cancer. And everybody went like this.
Oh, something interesting.
And then immediately went back to like shrimp cocktails and talking. Like they literally, I was
They
like,
just
I'm
looked.
not
They
even,
just wanted to look.
they just looked. They wanted
That's
to
a
see I had
car
rap.
crash happening.
Yeah, that was it.
Just
then you-
rubberneck comedy. That's what that
And the
was.
worst of it is then you have to stay afterwards because I have dinner ordered. We have to sit at the table. I have to go back to a table.
Yeah.
When you just, people are like, I thought you were funny.
Yeah.
Wait, do you
how
sit
would
at a
know?
table with like the
Are you
people
at the
watching?
miscellaneous table? It's like
I was with Anthony and They bought a table from where a cigar place that Anthony smoked cigars. They all bought a table. It was just a weird thing. They were just trying to raise money. So the guy was like selling tables.
So weird. That's a weird gig.
Yeah, it was like a Thursday night.
So, yeah, Neil's had one of his friends, some woman, the guy backed out, but she was like, I already booked it. She goes, I'm having I'm just going to have a party. And the same thing, couldn't get her money back. But you could tell she was just trying to make believe that it was like, oh, this is fun. But you could see the sadness.
Did you guys do it?
Yeah,
we did. Yeah, both.
Did it go better than mine?
They had bands on that. No, it was terrible. But they were paying attention. But the whole night was a feeling of this is not supposed to be what this is. Like we all know why we're here and why we should.
Well, that's
be
the thing.
here.
I went to the father, and I was like, would be, it's the elephant in the room. I go, can I address this? Like I thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, the kid's kind of sensitive about it. He's like, don't. And I'm like, oh, I can't even mention.
But he backed out of it.
Yeah, I go, so I can't even mention.
Yeah, it was his. He's the reason why we're in this
So
situation.
all my new jokes, like I'm getting married, all my new jokes were about wedding planning. Yeah. So I'm doing it midway through. I go, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing wedding planning jokes.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. So
oh
your other
my
option
God.
is the cancer jokes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like where are we?
Take a survey. I'm like, this half of the room, who wants cancer? It was so bad. It was the worst kid. But we
my
don't care.
God.
That's what I mean, though. You do this long enough, you're like, I don't give a shit. Give me my money. Give me a
You
steak.
get paid. You get a meal.
You got a free meal.
That's
in
it.
there? Yeah, that's
I
it.
sent Anthony picture. We took pictures of each other on the stage. And we just sent them to each other the next day. Like, oof. It was bad.
God.
It was really bad.
Brutal.
Well.
I want to get back to this guy because he's in he sent us a text this afternoon. Why don't you explain it?
I mean, it's not much to explain because we've mentioned this on there, but I will. So I got hit up randomly from this chick on Facebook. Now, most people, when they get hit up from random things, don't acknowledge it, don't entertain it. I always entertain it. Every single time you DM me, I'm responding. No matter what.
By the way, I
for
thought
most
this was
part.
a dating site that you were on. I didn't know. It was
No.
Facebook.
This is just Facebook Messenger.
So this is a friend of yours? Like you've accepted you
I
you
accepted
accept
the
everybody.
friend's request. Yeah, I like to accept first and see what's going on. Like, why is this?
Yeah, I've gotten those. Yeah.
So she started hitting me up, and now I started acknowledging her. Yesterday, this started, and the conversation has extended into today. And I thought she was a bot, or it was like someone looking for a one of those the coin based. Everybody's
Bitcoin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bitcoin. I
He's
just
like, what do you call them? Hookers. I think hookers is sex workers.
or like an OnlyFans, like trying to get me on something. But the conversation now has been going on for hours, and she's yet to try and imply or do anything. And usually they're end by now. So now I'm starting to think that this is a real person.
Yeah, that's the end game.
Yeah. It is.
They're patient.
They're patient.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
She's like molding him.
Yeah.
She's like she.
But I know it's coming.
You said you were going to try to FaceTime her anywhere.
So there was the whole I don't have. I figured she was working or whatever. She couldn't FaceTime, so we'll see. That's how I try and get them to really expedite the process here.
I can't believe he doesn't have FaceTime.
But I said the only other option I was thinking too is if it's not a bot and it's not like a hooker or something, it could be just someone who just wants to kill me or something.
That's
like
what
that.
That's what he
better.
told me on the way here.
Yeah.
He was like, I mean, what I'm thinking is, if it's not a bot, it's somebody that wants to murder me. I'm like, why are you spending time doing this? Also, the person on the other end thinks he's a comedian because of his
That's why I
profile
brought it up
picture.
because she thinks I'm a comedian. And he was like,
She
goes
said,
on.
I can't believe that I'm actually talking to a comedian. And I was like, yeah, yeah, you're right.
No, I can't believe it either.
I can't believe it either.
Nobody can believe it, actually.
And then Ryan asked me, he's like, do you actually have something that says you're a comedian? I'm like, no, but I get tons of comedian friends, and now all I do is get other people who like see me because my picture is me on stage.
Sure.
Yeah, when your profile picture's you on stage,
Yeah.
that usually tips
And then
people.
all my friends are like comedians on there. It looks like I'm a comedian too.
Yeah.
So I get requests for book bringer shows. I get random shit in there all the time.
He gets all the guys that you think of that reach out to him. Be like, would you want to do my show?
All the people, I get hit up by a lot of
Who's
Instagram
still
is
doing
weird.
that?
Instagram is weird.
Is Rob Chiaffi still around?
He's around. I don't know what he does. He's
I
around.
talked about him the other day. Did you ever know Rob Chiaffi?
I met him a couple times, yeah.
Okay, he's still. You guys crossed
He
I've
does some
crossed
like he
paths.
does something with Tim Thompson, like some internet writing,
Yes.
something on the internet with
yeah.
Tim
There's
Thompson.
a picture of him with a pencil in his ear. That's all I know.
So I just passed by a place. I did a show with him once, and
I haven't seen Rob in like a decade.
yeah, no,
Long time.
This was very early on, but he's on stage and he's got this button-up shirt, and it's so tight that you could see like the T-shirt in between each button. Like it's there's a little spaces. in
Is it
between
opening?
buttons. Yeah, and
great.
he does his act. I go up after him. I said, "Give it up for Rob Chiaffi, giving that shirt another chance tonight." I said, "The shirt might see another night, but those buttons won't." And then he laughed. He loved it so much. And then I saw him like a while later, a few months later. He was like, "Oh my god, that was so funny." He goes, "I've been wearing that shirt and doing that joke." I go, "You've been wearing a shirt on purpose and then making a joke about it on stage?" Like,
You turned him into a prop comic?
Yeah.
But I think he used to do that too. He used to have a T-shirt with like somebody's picture on it. He used to comment. I'm like, you can't do a joke about something you're wearing. Like, can you believe I'm wearing this? You put the thing on.
Yeah.
You can't act like, can you
That's the
believe
whole
this?
premise.
That
Yeah,
is
it doesn't fit.
That is a thing that a lot of people do, though.
Yeah.
And it's very strange to me.
Yeah.
It's like, so there's a shirt that you
You
have to dress up for
I can't
this?
do my act because I'm not wearing
Yeah,
that shirt.
pacing
That
backstage. It's like,
my
I
opening
forgot my
act-
shirt. I thought I packed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, pacing. What am I going to do?
I'm not a prop comedy fan though. I'm not. I mean, some of it can be funny, but never really gets me.
Yeah.
Just
I only
don't-
know like two. It was like Gallagher and
Yeah.
Carrot
Carrot
Top.
Top,
I
yeah.
don't really
Carrot
know. Carrot Top takes like $40 million.
Yeah, but those are like the guys that are successful. Like the prop comics on the open mic level, it gets weird.
Kevin Brogan used to be kind of. Remember Kevin Brogan?
Yeah.
He used to be like
Yeah.
a prop comic.
Yeah.
He
I
was
just-
around
He
before
got married.
started.
That kid. Believe that?
It's all those guys that got married and had children.
Insulting. That's so insulting. Can you believe that
I
guy
didn't
got
mean it
married?
that way.
You believe that
It
guy found
came
somebody
off-
to marry him?
Yeah, it came off wrong.
He's not listening.
I was gonna say before, like FaceTime, it's very flattering. Sometimes I'll have a girl, like I'll match with a girl online, and she'll ask me to FaceTime with her because like to make sure that I'm real. I'm like, oh, okay. At least you thought I was attractive enough to make sure you want like this
Yeah,
guy,
you're the
this guy
catfish
to
picture.
show up. Yeah, I was like, oh, you thought that I was good enough, good looking enough to want to be
Interesting.
the.
So that's a thing. People will have to do the FaceTime.
That's
Yeah.
why I asked for the FaceTime because you could take one photo, right? And I've watched Catfish and stuff and they'll use the same photo and it's all on all.
Yeah.
So like you look at all their linked accounts and it's like, oh, all right, this person's legit, but they're not.
Wait, so did you ask for the?
Yeah, I asked to FaceTime. She gave me. That's why I said, and that's why I'm still not.
What'd they say?
It was
working
they were at
away.
work and it was just there's always a song and dance. That's why I'm really trying to push
I
that.
think in 2001, you needed to watch Catfish to know that it's fake.
Yeah.
By
yeah.
now, I think it should take about, I don't know, half a second.
Yeah.
to feel like you're not a real person or.
Well, I'm convinced this is a real person. It's just like it's probably a man.
Oh, it's a person.
It's a man.
It's a person.
Yeah, it's
it's
a
just-
person.
Yeah,
It's not the person you think it is.
No, it's definitely not.
It's a person that's like, I can't believe this idiot is still going with this.
Usually, I've turned them on for people like have to stop talking to me, and that's normally what I like to do.
All right, bro, I gotta go. I got
Yeah, like they
I'm
was like,
saying,
all right,
dude.
I'm done with you. Like I know I'm not getting anywhere with you. I'm done, and I'm
great.
just like, what happened?
This is a guy that just likes
Why
to
are we-
talk.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
I've gone through a similar thing though. I matched with a girl a while back on like some other dating site, and she lived in California. But we started talking, and she started talking about how she works in finance and she works with foreign currencies and stuff like that. So
That's
I
where it's
kind of
coming.
did the same thing. I kind of like I never. I'm like, well, I know I'm never giving this woman money. Like I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
So I want to see where it goes, and eventually it just fizzles out.
That's what I do. Like, I'm not giving this person money. I probably won't even go meet this person. Now, if I FaceTime them and it's the real girl and she wants to meet, I'll put my life on the line there and see what happens.
You do like
She look
this
cute,
person.
Well, the person in the picture is attractive.
Yeah, but
so
you're
it's a
also
good photo they used.
You're also enjoying the conversation too.
Yeah, I do. I
wanna
enjoy
just
this. I
talk, yeah.
have fun with it. Yeah. Either way it ends up, to me, it's a win.
It's a win.
Yeah. What do you got to lose? I get a lot from.
He's got nothing to
Do you
lose.
think you could truly fall for a woman with never seeing her, like that blind love? I've never seen that, but
Love
like
is blind.
Love is blind. Is that what it is?
Talking to them, though,
Yeah. Do you think you could You think you could
Emotionally, I think you could.
yeah,
get
I
to the
do.
point where you like somebody so much you're like, I don't even care what you look like. I'm so into you.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
you
I'm
could.
too shallow for that.
Me too.
I could fall in love, but then I could fall out of love really quick.
Exactly. Like, I could be like, oh my God, this person's amazing. And then I see them and I'm like, I don't care how amazing you are. Like
Yeah.
my lips aren't touching those lips.
I think there's a
She's
better
probably
chance
thinking
of
the
me
same thing.
crying in front of them. I cry over the phone a lot. It's much easier.
No, yes, I mean, and it's amazing how you can grow attracted to somebody that you really have a connection with too. So I say that jokingly, but
That
you know,
is true.
Sometimes you really like somebody. You can be like, you start to find like, I really like. Yeah, I might not like walking past this person and be like, oh, they're gorgeous. But after you get to know them, and like, I really like, I like this.
But they
person,
can't
yeah.
be grotesque though. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
For me at least.
The goal,
Like,
the balls on you.
Yeah.
and I'm not even. It's not like I'm a good-looking guy.
No, you are grotesque.
Well, somebody we didn't bring it up last week. I think I was
somebody has to be
somebody else's
attractive in
rock
the
bottom.
relationship. Yeah, that's right.
So a girl,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
a girl that I was hooking up with prior, we stopped hooking up, and then she went to rehab and everything, and now she's back, and I was like, I'm waiting for she's gonna hit me up, and now she's like doing good, and I haven't gotten a text yet.
She's still doing good.
Well, she's only been a couple weeks, so
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I
funny.
was definitely her rock bottom.
You should do, yeah, you should do the right thing. If she does reach out, immediately reach out to her loved ones and be like, she's using again.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
using it
Yeah.
again. She hit me up. This
soon as
isn't
you
good.
Yeah,
It's the first step down a real rocky road.
I'm like
Just
the number
messaging
on the
him.
phone that's like, don't do it. Don't you do it.
that I never saw this show, but my sister quoted it. American Dad. You ever watch American Dad?
I haven't.
Is it
Yeah.
animated?
Yeah,
It
it's
is, yeah. It's
the
very
same-
popular.
It's Family Guy Part 2. But this guy was like, he was drunk driving and he hit a telephone booth, and he said to the guy, he's like, "Man, I'm hitting everything but rock bottom."
That's funny.
I always thought that was such a good.
That's a funny.
That is a good one.
Yeah,
I get a lot of Asian girls on Instagram, but they're from like Hong Kong. They're like, oh, I'm gonna be in New York
that's
City. I'm like,
Really?
the girl from California. She was Japanese, I think. Yeah,
and then you look at their profile pictures, and they're all like super successful.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And they just want to get coffee with me. It's weird.
yeah.
They want to meet me in the
That
city
is
for coffee.
weird. That is
But I do
weird.
engage like he does, but in a joking way, because I'm always just kind of like,
Yeah. It's almost like you enjoy wasting their time.
Yeah.
because they think
Well,
they got.
it's
That's
a
what I
ridiculous
think. They think
premise.
they got
They-
me,
they
but
think
they
you
don't
get-
realize
yeah.
what they're fucking with.
Yeah.
That seems insane to me that you guys would do that.
that's hilarious.
I find it funny too. Like I just feel like I don't know.
But I feel like also there's a part
He's
of
definitely
you,
funnier than them. I'm like,
yeah. I also feel like with you, there's a part of you that like you never know.
Well,
This
the,
could
well
happen.
the Asian girls were from Hong Kong who were coming to like want to get coffee in New York City when they're here once a year. I'm
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
make your lies like somewhat realistic.
Right, right.
Like you're not even trying
Yeah.
to lure me. It's just a ridiculous storyline you have.
This girl was from California and she lives in Philadelphia now.
Philadelphia,
Apparently,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, she's a car ride away.
Pennsylvania. So,
If you ever see me go missing, just check near Philly.
For the record, before we wrap this at some point, I am no longer in. I am officially now in Long Island.
Yeah,
Oh,
We
welcome.
moved back last week.
what town? you live in?
Lindenhurst, like right in the
Lindenhurst?
village of Lindenhurst. Actually, really, not, I don't know Lindenhurst. For some reason, I've never really been to Lindenhurst. Nice town.
South or north of Sunrise.
I don't even know. I'm right off Wellwood. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, well,
right
two
by the town.
bedroom, little
Two
two-bedroom,
bedroom, two
apartment or
bath, rental, 55 plus community.
he's in an old folks home.
I'm 55.
something? Wow.
Yeah,
Good for you.
you'll like the story. Of course, it's a money joke.
Yeah.
Is don't insist on living on the top floor. It's a 2-level. Because where we lived last place, those people above us, and they stomp around and it drives us crazy. She's like, I got to be on the.
Put a bookmark in that. But yeah, go ahead.
So
keep
she's
going.
like, I got to live on the top floor. Now, any development you go to, it's $75 more to be on the top floor. You pay more to be up top. But in the 55 plus communities, it's $75 cheaper.
Less.
Because they can't get
They
up.
don't go up.
They can't make the stairs.
That's funny.
So the realtor's like, you okay with that? I'm like, top floor and 75. I've been training for this my entire life. Like I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I've been training.
What were we bookmarking? You had a.
Oh, I think that it says a lot about a person if they prefer to live on top or above because if it's the noise based
It was
thing.
the noise. It was noise.
Yeah, I think I would rather live on the bottom because I would rather deal with the noise than bother somebody and be the cause of the noise.
We're so respectful though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how respectful you are. Like I never wanted to be like I'm pretty loud. I'm heavy footed, so I
heavy-footed.
just
Yeah.
I don't
with
want to
Ziegler
be
on
think.
that.
I don't want
I'd
to think
rather
about
be
it.
the one to control the
It was
loudness.
where we were was real. It was exceptionally bad. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a little. It was just like I don't know. I go,
What
I
are
think
you
they have a
doing?
Fitbit. I'm like, it's a little apartment. I go, walk 70 trips this way. I don't know what they could be doing.
Yeah,
It drove us
I
nuts.
wouldn't like I live above a dance studio, and you can't imagine the nightmare that I hear at 5 o'clock every day.
No,
You're
it's bad.
above it.
I'm above it.
Yeah, but you still hear it.
Yeah,
But
that's
you hear it. So there's nobody above me. But I hear below me. So I don't give. I could walk around in cinder block boots.
We spent 2 years trying to figure out who they were. Like I know what apartment number. I could have gone up and like just kind of loitered their hallway until they left I wanted to see. That's our biggest regret is we left.
Not never knowing.
So Dawn knows what apartment number it is because it's directly above us. So we just go the elevator up and we know it's first apartment to the left. So she knows. So she wrote them a letter, like an anonymous letter. And it was a Christmas card. I remember it was at Christmas time. She goes, "What do you think about this?" I go, "What is this?" She goes, I wrote a letter to the people above us.
What did it say?
It was like, "Hey, hope you have a Merry Christmas, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we've been living below you." And it was so kind at the beginning, and it just gradually became like a therapy letter.
Wow.
She's like, you're inconsiderate, and you stop around, and you live among other people. It got, as the letter went on, by the end of it, she's like, "I'll fucking kill your kids." So I go, "You're not mailing this." I go, "I'll go knock on their door before I do this cowardice move of sliding this into there."
Wow. So you never gave it to
I
them?
gave it to him. I wanted to confront him one night. It got really bad one night.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's just like 2 a.m. It's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, and
Was
I
it
know
kids. Do you know?
I think they have a kid. We don't know. I don't know who they are. So I would see like heavy people get out of like an SUV and they'd get in the elevator with me, and I'd always be like, because they're stompers.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, this could be. I'd always be like, I push the elevator button. Like I was floor 2, so I'd be like, what floor? Like I'm gonna push the button.
Yeah.
If they were 3, I was going to 3 and getting off with them. See?
Oh
But
my
they'd always
God.
be like, we're
Walking
4th
in-
floor. And I'm like, I could have sworn it was gonna be them. I'm like, damn it. So
I'm shocked that you didn't figure out who it was because I feel like
no, you know me.
Yeah, like I went to that apartment and like there was a scuff on the wall and you were ready to write a letter for that.
I magic erased like half my building. It was like a 4-story building, and I would like walk down the hall with a magic eraser. I would wet Swiffer the elevator. I was like a super.
Yeah, we noticed a scuff and he's
in Pennsylvania.
You should ask for
Yeah,
money
yeah,
off on
Pennsylvania.
your next.
I hate mess. I'm like very OCD clean, and I'd be like so mad. Somebody would like spill a soda in
You
the
got your
elevator
full
and get.
deposit back.
What's that?
You got your full deposit back.
We're waiting. We officially we don't. I still have that apartment till July 1st. We left a month early because
Last place I lived was 2 years. I lived in the apartment in Patchogue, and the guy came to do the assessment, and he goes, "Do you live here, or did you just like store stuff here?" I was like, "Nah, I lived here."
yeah, very clean. I'm
Yeah,
looking very
yeah.
I'm same. I don't like mad, but I get mad at rude people. Like I'd see like a spilled soda in the
But that- yeah,
elevator,
that's
and they would just leave it, and I get in with Dawn. I'd be like, they fucking know they spilled. It's like they don't know.
Yeah.
They just looked at it. We're like, oh, yeah, I spilled the soda, and they got out. So I would go home and I'd be like, and then I'd sit on the couch and I'd be like, I'm not cleaning it.
That's a fun guy to be around.
Oh yeah,
You're a lot of fun, John.
at parties.
I'm sure she loves that part of you.
No, she's worse than I am.
I was gonna
yeah?
say,
She won't
is
go
she-
in-
I mean,
no,
she's
she's
a
not
hothead though, or no? Like,
No.
So was that letter like? Was she trying to be nice and it was just coming out?
You know, she'll be hided towards me, or if like it's anonymous, I guess.
Yeah.
But she would not confrontational.
Okay.
You have to really push her to be confrontational.
Wow.
She's very sweet. She's not.
Yeah, she's one of the sweetest people I've
Like
ever
I had
met.
a show in a PA, and I had Brendan and Christian Hahn come up, and I'm like, look, guys, I don't have a lot of money, but I put them up in a Marriott by my place.
Oh,
How
God.
long was I in the hotel? How long were we in the lobby before I was fighting at the front desk?
We go into the front desk. By the way, me and Christian looked like he was our stepdad or something.
I was
That
under
is
my name, and
buying
I was like,
us a
don't let
hotel."
him rent any movies. I was
and he goes,
I had like child restrictions on the room.
he's checking in, and he's like, "All right, boys, go to the room. Here's the key." And me and Christian are like, "All right," and he stayed down there, and I'm like, he's fighting with the front desk right now about the bill.
It's like a $40 discrepancy,
And then
which is being
50
rectified immediately.
And then 15 minutes later, he came back, sat on our bed, and just was like, I forget what it was, but you were just like, the balls on these people to charge it.
I do argue with a lot of people. But whatever. It's, it feels good because the first like 48 years of my life, I was very non-confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's through comedy and just getting older. Comedy made me like more aggressive. Like you get
Right.
shit on so bad being a comic. You
Maybe
get-
that's why. Yeah.
yeah, it does. I got so many times on the road getting taken advantage of and people, nickel diming you that
Yeah.
you just start to speak up for yourself. And it started to feel good. Like I was the guy if I got a sandwich and there was like mustard on it, I'm like, oh, excuse me, I asked for mayonnaise. Like, no, I'd be like, I guess I'm eating mustard. I'm not gonna argue with
I
you.
think I've always been. I'm confrontational.
You do it in a very nice way though.
Not always.
No, I haven't
not
really
always.
see that
No.
side.
Yeah, not always.
I'm
But
with-
I need to see the whole picture before I confront somebody because sometimes you don't know the backstory, like things. Because I never want to be the person where they have an excuse for the thing that they did.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if somebody's parked like all messed up, like I need to see them pull up, park in a spot with empty spaces. Because sometimes you pull in. Sometimes where you pull up, there's two people parked messed up, and you got to pull in the middle of it. You know, and you're parked on a line because that's the only spot
You
that was
give
left.
way too much thought. If I see it, I'm like, what a fucking asshole.
I go to
Yeah, and that usually that is what it is. But sometimes you don't know. Then the people next to them leave, and then they're stuck there because they were. But if I see somebody who's like, if I see them pulling, I'll confront them, or yeah. I went to a Carvel once with my sister, and I saw a woman pull up just all the spaces that you could want. She pulls right in, like on the line. So I told my sister, I go, get out. And she goes, I said, just get out. So I pull my passenger door, just like touching her mirror. Just you literally couldn't even get like in to open the door. And I parked my car there. When I got my ice cream, she comes out. She sees her. She's looking around. I come out, licking my ice cream. And I go like this. And I wave to her. She was like, but nothing she could do. She got to go in the passenger seat with her.
Wait, you watched somebody get in the passenger seat?
I watched her. Yeah, she was look. I looked at it. I was waving at her like,
See, that's not
that's
mean,
me.
but it's that's like a
That's
supervillain
me,
kind
yeah.
of calm.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm a
I do.
prick.
I do stuff like that. I actually had to stop. I had an incident once, so I had to stop confronting people. But I would do stuff like that all the time. I was on a ferry once, and a woman was talking so loudly and on speakerphone, and she was like in one of the booths, and I just went over. I sat in the booth with her, and she's like, and she's on the phone, like she's talking. She goes, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I was having a little problem hearing the other side of the conversation, so I thought if I sat here, I could hear the whole thing." I said, I hate hearing one side of a conversation, so I want to hear the whole thing. I was like, "Go ahead, keep going." And then she was like, whatever
I've
happened.
overcorrected though.
Yeah.
Like I was like a guy who wouldn't speak up for myself, and now I've overcorrected. It's
Yeah.
become like too much. Like I was at the gym and there was a lady got on the elliptical. You know when somebody gets on a machine at the gym and I'm like, yeah, it's clearly broken.
Yeah.
She gets on, it's like, junk.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I guess I'll just do this like this for 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, it's annoying. It's loud. So I said something to her, and nobody else wanted to speak. I could see other people looking, and nobody would speak up.
So you're the guy that speaks up
Yeah,
for the
but then
rest
I
of the
became
class.
like a hero.
Yeah.
Like they were looking at me like, thank you. Like I'm like, I'm not a hero. I just did what anybody. But I like
All
yelled at
heroes
her.
wear capes,
I'm
everybody.
like, do you think that's what the elliptical should sound like?
Yeah.
A loud chunky
What did
noise
you say to
every
this
step?
person? You
That's
just
exactly what I said. I was like, you think that's supposed to make that noise?
Yeah. My sister's like that too, and her
for you.
name was Karen, so it's not a good look.
Oh, that's
yeah.
oh wow.
Well, I tried to write a bit about that. I tried to write a joke about that I finally become assertive when it was like a sign of like strength and everything else. But
Yeah.
now being assertive, it's like a,
Is it-
white, straight, middle-aged guy who's
Yeah, you gotta be
yelling at
careful.
people. I'm like, oh,
You
he's
don't
a
want to
Karen.
end up on like
I
somebody's
become,
TikTok.
Yeah, somebody's gonna shoot me on YouTube, and that's it. I'm done.
You got into an argument on the way here. We had to stop at CVS because he didn't eat. You know, he was ready to pass out in the back seat.
My
What do you
blood
get at
sugar.
CVS?
I got a protein bar. My blood sugar was
okay.
great.
Yeah. And what was the problem there? Was there wasn't somebody?
Nobody
didn't
was at the
help you in time?
register, and then I went to self checkout, and I was trying to figure it out. And the kid who works the register was just like mingling in with the customers, like he's just like assimilating. And I'm like, "Oh, you work here? You saw me standing at the register for 5 minutes?" He's like, "You want to hit no bag? If you don't want a bag, just hit no bag." I go, "Why couldn't you just ring me up?"
Yeah.
I hate when they sit there and instead of them ringing you up, they have to make you do it and help you do it. Just ring me up.
He didn't have a badge on. He was plain clothes. CVS undercover.
Like I feel like I gotta just I don't get that stuff get to me anymore. I just
So I've never seen
I've
that
just
stuff get
ex-
to you.
I've
You,
just
you
ex-
keep it. You must.
stuff like that. Yeah, like registers or if it's manageable, and even when people are doing annoying things, if I say something right away, if I do something like that, it releases my tension, and I don't have to think about it. I don't have to leave going, this fucking person. I don't get angry like that because I'll either say something or I won't, but either way, I'll walk away from it and be like, either I said something and I feel good about it or I didn't. I'm like, yeah, I can't. There's too many other things in this world to be upset
No,
about.
you're
I
100%
can't.
right.
That's it.
You think I would have learned
Yeah.
that being on a deathbed?
Especially, yeah, you.
Took me about, I don't know, I was out of hospital for about, I don't know, about 7 days before
Yeah,
I was
you-
finally-
yeah,
But
you-
the other side of that is you were on your deathbed, and now it's like, you know what? I'm not going to keep this shit in anymore.
Yeah,
Fuck
but I shouldn't. You
Yeah,
can't
right.
worry about, if
That's
you worried
right.
about everybody, you've been all day aggravated and annoyed. I have to learn how to like just not worry. And I'm
Maybe
not,
that's where the cancer came from.
you know what? I blame it on my mom, taking care of my mom.
Yeah, the
Do you
stress.
really?
The stress levels
of
were
that.
insane for like
Yeah.
4 years. And I'm not saying it did that,
Stress is the worst.
but stress was
thing.
it was physiologically affecting my body. Like it was affecting my sleep, my eating. You know, I would eat food, my stomach would get upset. I was just constantly had this weird agita and tightness. It was just because it was like a 24-hour thing taking care of my mother, and no end in sight. You're like, I don't know, what do
Yeah.
I do? Just do this for the rest of my life?
So you were like her.
Yeah, I was a caretaker.
Caretaker.
And then I had to get Medicaid. I had to get lawyers. I don't know what I'm doing. I had to get AIDS. I fired 40 AIDS.
Yeah, I see. My mother went through that with her parents, and I've seen that firsthand. That shit is
It was very stressful. on
very
me.
stressful.
Very. And
I quoted your joke actually not too long ago to my father about telling your mother not to have a good day, not to have one of her good days today.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah,
they're coming
yeah,
to assess. Like, yeah, you don't do the
true
joke.
story. Because she was kind of on the fence
Yeah,
at that point. But I'm like, I need her to be bad when they show up.
yeah,
I love that joke.
yeah.
I actually gave her a glass of Chardonnay. She loved Chardonnay.
A little fucked up.
I need Medicaid.
Whatever you got to do.
I can't have the nurse walking in. How you doing, Mrs. Ziegler? I'm great. How are you? What's your name? Karen. Oh, very great to meet. I'm like, oh, we're not getting anything, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, accidentally kick her knee
Babble.
out
Can you
when
babble? So that was a rough one. She's been gone for 14, 15 months or more. 15, 16 months. It's crazy. I got lucky with that one, though. She went very quickly. And
Yeah.
yeah. It's best case
Well,
scenario.
yeah, I guess.
I think about that shit with me.
Wait,
like-
so that happened before you got.
no, my mother died last February.
Oh, so she. Oh,
So we had a rough couple of years. Yeah,
jeez.
I think about that with me. Like, if this comes back, like, I'm not going to rot in a hospital bed. It's not going to happen. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be that cancer guy who's like, Ziegler's 100 pounds, you know, give him a straw. Like, I'm not going to, that's
What do you-
horrible.
yeah.
So I think about how I want to go. And
Do you have
how
an
to- I don't-
idea?
nothing that sounds good. Like, I don't know how to do it. I wish I understood pharmacology.
Well,
You
you
gotta
could
find
draw.
a doctor who will do it.
I don't know how to do it. I'm so bad.
Cyanide.
Why am I getting cyanide? I don't know how to get cyanide.
I was just thinking of.
Am I an assassin? I don't know how to get cyanide. I thought about a lot of different ways, but I can't do any of them.
He could draw. You could drive around in a car with him for a week, see what happens.
do it on stage.
Terrible driver.
People will show.
Die on stage?
Yeah, you know, what was that politician who
The
shot
guy who
himself?
shot himself at the
Yeah.
press conference.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just
God.
thinking about
I don't have the
that.
balls to anything.
Yeah.
I thought about a lot of different.
And
I look at
alibi.
people who kill themselves.
That'd
I'm
be
like,
the
how
last
much
time
pain
Bud
are you in
Dwyer?
to jump off a roof?
Bud.
Yes,
Bud Dwyer.
Dwyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He shot himself live.
Live
God.
on air.
You never seen
He
that
took out
video?
the gun. Everyone's like, no. He was boom.
I regret seeing that video. By
yeah.
the way,
Sometimes it pops in your head, and you're like, I wish I
Yeah.
never saw that.
Yeah, that's like one of the tough ones to watch.
I would be so upset if I shot myself live on TikTok or something like that. And
doesn't get any views.
I didn't get any. Like Matt Rife still had way more views than
Yeah.
me. I'd be like, but he's got abs. I get it.
That's the problem with trying to do it to go viral. Because if you don't go viral, now you just killed yourself.
You just got adult baby numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
I can kill myself on adult baby pie. I'll give you a boost.
That would give us a boost.
I
but
would welcome somebody to kill themselves on our podcast.
Yeah.
but it doesn't have a morbid curiosity. Like
Yeah.
this week.
No, he's. Oh my god.
We are at well over an hour, so you got.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have
so
anything? Do you want to promote before I get into my?
Oh, I don't know
Great
what I'm doing
picks.
next. I'm at the Rosendale Theater. It's up by SUNY New Paltz
Ooh.
on the 24th. I think the 18th. Yeah, this is the 18th. Father's Day. I'm going to be at the Argyle Theater in Babylon.
Look at you.
I don't know who's on the show. I don't know anything about that show. I know I'm there.
Oh, good.
I don't know the Rosendale Theater.
like these local theaters are becoming like they're trying to bring them back. For a while, I think they were just like empty theaters. There's the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead. They tried to bring back Patchogue Theater. These were like kind of dead for a long time. I feel like Argyle. I
Patchogue,
don't-
you lived in Patchogue. Patchogue's
Yeah.
a great town, and that theater's a nice theater.
yeah.
The Paramount's crushing it.
Yeah.
Paramount's doing very well.
They
Yeah.
run. Those guys know what they're doing. They really run a sharp business. Yeah, you have East Northport has the Engelman Theater. There's a Smithtown Theater. There's the one in Babylon.
Yeah.
I think the space in Westbury still exists. I never hear of it.
Do they do anything at the colleges? Have any theaters there that they like?
Malloy College has the Madison Theater at Malloy College.
Hofstra doesn't do anything.
I don't think Hofstra does anything.
They should.
LIU
area,
Post
too.
has the
Post.
Tillis, but that's a legit theater.
Yeah.
It's
So
like a
I saw
5,000
Cosby
seater.
there.
How great was that?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, same like you. You know, he was a great comic.
I don't know. Same as me.
Yeah,
I
same
I
exact
have some
as you.
flaws, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm.
questionable person, great comic. You know? Yeah, this was.
Yeah, is Cosby really questionable at this point?
Yeah,
I
this
think I'm
was-
questionable.
this- yeah,
I think
you're
he's
right.
pretty.
Yeah.
I think the jury's out on
This
that
is,
one.
you know, But it was a while back. This was going back 6 months ago, maybe?
I don't care if it was last week.
This was,
Still a genius.
yeah, it's 15 years ago or so ago.
What do you
Yeah,
do, 2
just
hours?
2 hours and just... I mean,
No opener,
crushed.
right?
No opener.
Yeah, he's a
Just crushed.
genius. Cosby was a genius.
That's
Yeah.
crazy that he used to do that long.
Yeah.
Genius.
At
Brilliant
least. I think
comic.
it might have been like 2.5. And you think like, oh, you're going to give him some old man laughs. But no, just... And he takes his time. Like, he knows how to use downtime. But yeah, not a good guy.
No, not great. Not
Yeah.
great.
Very funny guy.
Love that Norm Macdonald bit. Worst part about
Yeah, well, we talked about
you
this.
did it already?
Yeah, when Neil was here, we said
the
it.
hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Joke. The
Yeah.
hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's a great bit.
Norm he was so brilliant. One of the best comics.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and Woody Allen. and I love Woody Allen too. So what can you do? You know what I mean?
Well, they're all flawed, I guess.
But Woody Allen, does he? I feel like he doesn't get the notoriety as being a pedophile like Crosby does now.
Well,
Crosby.
I don't think he was a
Cosby.
pedophile, was he?
well,
Well, did he ma-
It's just a weird.
She was of age, but it was creepy. It was
No,
like a
I thought she
stepdaughter.
wasn't of age though when they
Well,
first
well, that's what
started.
Mia Farrow
He might
said.
have groomed her.
So yeah,
Oh, that's according to Mia Farrow,
He was
yeah.
never yeah, exactly. And I guess there was questionable things and there was different stories. So I don't think nothing was ever like
Because he pretty much, I feel like he's the one who got away with it. If anybody,
yeah,
did.
but I think there was a lot of reasonable doubt that kept him from being like. But the fact of the matter is, he did marry his stepdaughter when she became of age. They got married.
Yeah, it's,
which
a little,
I never-
it's a little weird.
Yeah, it's a
But
little weird.
I don't think it's not
and-
illegal.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I
and I
guess.
never had that's what I never had a problem with. And I also, I don't know, I'm not a Woody Allen, apologist, but I'm always like, well, but I just love his movies and his stand up so much that I'm always like, well, we don't know, we don't know the whole story. Like, I'm still very much living in that space, but it's definitely this fact that he married. That's not a good sign for what else he was maybe capable.
Right.
of.
That's like
doesn't.
my father and Paterno. He'll defend Paterno to the day. My dad loved Joe Paterno. With everything.
Pa?
An
Yeah.
Italian coach. Forget it. My dad. No, you don't know what he did. He didn't know that. He did it.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do it. Paterno was just covering up. Right?
Yeah,
He
right.
was
He
just-
turned
was
a
turning-
blind
was
eye.
just
Turned a
turning
blind eye, and but I mean, you're right. Again, it's who knows. But I just some people, if you love them that much, you just you never know.
Yeah,
you
like
tend to do that.
live in that. We don't know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, Cosby, we kind of know, but he's still
Yeah,
Cosby.
we kind of know.
Cosby,
Pretty
we know.
really funny though.
Yeah.
The comic doesn't
Michael
change
Jackson.
the fact.
I'll play Michael Jackson at a wedding. I'm going on the dance floor. I don't care.
Listen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a lot of people who
I'll do my
deny
moonwalk.
that. So
Yeah.
you never know. Again, with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and but R. Kelly, I that's pretty obvious that he was a bad guy. But I still listen to R. Kelly.
I don't believe that we have to just because you don't like what someone was doing. You can still if they did.
To me, it's a matter of are they getting money? Like if you're streaming their stuff and they're getting the money, but like R. Kelly's like in prison for like the rest of his life.
Yeah, even
So-
if he is getting the money, what is he
Yeah.
buying? Cigarettes and the
Yeah,
commissary?
exactly. So it's like I don't want to
Does he
support
get
them
extra
financially.
puddings? What is he getting with it?
Yeah,
I mean, if he gets millions of dollars,
Yeah,
pudding
doesn't
for
really matter.
everybody.
Yeah.
yeah. So like Kanye West, like, I can't support Kanye. I was never a huge fan of Kanye's music anyway, but I did I do like a handful of his songs, but I'll download them like illegally. Like I have them all downloaded illegally, and I listen to them offline. So like he doesn't get if I listen to
Really?
Kanye, he doesn't get any streaming money from me. Yeah,
That's great.
The man of
All right, here's your
principle.
Sophie's choice. So is A$AP Rock a band or a person?
that's a rapper.
It's
from-
one guy.
Yeah, one guy.
Okay. A$AP Rock does some horrible things. Do the albums stay on the wall? Really bad things. Let's
Yeah,
see. I
that's
don't
a
know
good
anything about
question.
it. Do the albums stay up? Like you still like? I still like his music, but I can't put his albums up.
That's a tough question.
Like it would
already
be
bought
weird
him
if
at
you
this
had an
point.
apartment. I walked in, it was just like 6 Cosby albums on the wall.
Yeah.
There's a Woody Allen album in there.
It's buried though. It's well.
Yeah.
I don't think Woody Allen's. I don't think anybody who comes in would be like knows the Woody Allen thing as much. Like we know.
Yeah.
There's
You
a
think that's-
documentary that was pretty bad a few
What,
years
with the
ago.
Woody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that was the whole thing. Even when you watch the documentary, there's still another side to that documentary where they're like,
Yeah.
everything is denied.
Yeah.
So you
question,
still.
though.
So I don't know. I guess it depends on what it was. I mean,
Let's go bad. Let's go
It's
like
really bad?
5-year-old,
Yeah.
R. Kelly
5-year-old
status,
kitty
but
rape,
it's A$AP Rocky.
abduction and rape
Yeah,
of
I
a
think-
5-year-old. Let's go.
I take him off the wall. I download his music and I listen to it offline.
That's a fair trade.
keep
That's a
him
fair
still, right?
compromise.
Keep the albums.
But it comes off the wall.
I'm keeping him because he's not getting the money for. I already have them.
You're not supporting him.
Yeah,
have-
I'm
do you
not.
have
I'm
a
not
So you
Michael
still
getting any-
listen.
I'll still, and then all these come with like download codes, so
Yeah.
I never download it. I just stream it. So I buy the album. I never listen to these albums. I just stream them. I just like to have the physical copy of them.
Actually, pretty cool album covers.
Yeah,
They
well,
are,
Actually,
they are.
Actually, yeah. Yeah.
But we have at my house we have a.
But this is going to be hard to do. That's a Aesop Rock tattoo, so that'll be hard to.
but you could almost make that.
Is he a white guy or black guy?
He's a white guy from Northport.
From here?
Grew up in born in for 6 years maybe in Northport, then Brooklyn, and
All right.
yeah. So yeah, I could probably also just make believe that's somebody else.
We have the Michael Jackson Platinum.
It could be Buddy
Thriller
Holly from
album.
here.
Yeah.
We have because my dad used to work for Sony and he used to get all this shit, and we have it's framed. It's a picture of Michael Jackson signed, and it's like the Platinum Thriller album. Shit ain't coming down. That shit's still on the wall.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing to have.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, pedophiles, album. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
It's funny because I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast sometimes. I'm like, 3-hour podcast. Who's listening to this?
I know.
There we go. What are we
Yeah.
at? We
Well,
at-
no,
we
by
at
the way,
two?
nobody's
Gotta be at
listening.
two, right?
We're at the
20.
point that the people have stopped
Everybody
listening.
listens to the end.
No,
No,
they
They
don't.
the
put us
locals, they
on,
want to know
they
if their name
stay.
comes up. They want to know if we talk about them.
Yeah, that's true.
You got
only
some
picks?
Where
picks?
are we at? Do we have picks?
Yeah, I could do 2 quick picks.
Oh,
We
okay.
talked about them earlier before the show, actually. Platonic with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne on Apple.
I was enjoying that.
I find her hysterical, but I like the premise. I think it's very funny. And Bupkis on Peacock. That's the Pete Davidson one.
How much is what's his name? Joe Pesci in that?
He's in it. He's
Yeah,
the
he's
main
good in it.
character.
Plays his grandfather. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
I
the
only
main
watched the pilot.
Pesci is actually fantastic in it. I
I
didn't
heard
know
that,
what to
yeah.
expect from him.
It's got a good cast.
Brad Garrett's great and everything.
Brad
Yeah,
Garrett.
but I think he's a good actor. Pete
Edie
Davidson's
Falco.
Pete
is a good
Davidson
actor.
He's fine. He
movies
plays
have
himself
been
in it.
very
He's
good. He
fine.
plays
Yeah,
himself and everything.
Exactly. I don't think he's gonna branch
And
out. and
Lynn
be-
Cocklitz was in the first episode. She played the hooker.
She was.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Also
She's-
great in the Joe List movie, the fourth.
She
Yeah,
was
Lynn
in
Cocklitz
there,
is good in
yeah.
everything. She used to be on remember, was it Z-Rock? Was that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Like
on
the
that.
manager or something like that.
Yes,
right?
played the manager.
Yeah.
And Big J was a doorman.
Yeah.
I used to like that show. It was,
Yeah,
I
that
think
was a
before I did
show.
comedy. That's how long ago that was.
Z-Rock? I don't
It
know.
was Z-Rock. It was like an IFC show or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I ever finished that, but I did like
And
it. Yeah.
Arnold on Netflix. Awesome documentary about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's not going to let us talk about about picks while he's
No, I just had to throw that in
Yeah,
there. I forgot.
okay.
Oh,
Arnold.
he stepped on his pick turf? Is that
No,
what
no,
it
no,
is?
no.
I don't know the
one stepped
rules
on my
here. I don't-
turf. No,
I
you're
don't
good,
either.
you're good.
I'm about to read the David Wright. David Wright book.
Number
Matt
5.
Thursday.
Matt-
The Stephen Wright book.
I heard it's great.
Yeah, me too.
I heard it's great.
I'm gonna watch. So maybe I don't have my picks, but I might suggest
Fascinating guy, man. Because it's a nonfiction
It's a novel, yeah.
It's not like
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
He writes for Louis.
Yeah.
And he started right. No, he doesn't write for Louis. He sat in and gave input on the
Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
All right. Because
I
Louis,
li-
brought,
I
him to
listened-
the,
I
Louis
listened
brought
to-
him to the club one night.
yeah. And he tells him like, watch me, and like, so I guess
it's just feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
right,
okay. So,
yeah,
okay, I didn't know that. Because
But,
I'm like, I don't see Stephen Wright and Louis. It's two very different voices.
Well, they, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Boston guys, and but I listened. They did it on Mass with Ron Bennington and Stephen Wright, and it was so funny to hear Stephen
We
Wright
still
laugh.
have Ron Bennington, huh?
He's my
I
guy.
know. It always.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys. So I had this theory, and I know we're going long, but I had this theory that some people, if somebody dies, everyone likes to act like they're so upset, like, oh, I really love them, and
that makes me sick.
they like
That
to
really
be like
bothers
they like to be like they're really connected to this person because I was really a fan of this person. My theory is everybody should get 5 celebrities. And you have to make that known now. Like you have to let it know in ahead of time.
I agree.
So like pick your 5 celebrities, and then if one of your celebrities dies, and you can say like, this was one of my guys. Everybody give me attention because I was sad because this was one of my 5 celebrities. So, but
But it
Ron
doesn't
Bennett,
count if you don't have a selfie with them.
yeah,
You need to
maybe.
post.
Yeah.
You have to have something to post.
No, just like you're a fan of this person. Like I'm gonna be really upset when this person dies, but Ron Bennington's like my number 1 guy.
He's
When-
in there.
when he dies. Like
There's maybe
I'm gonna
2
be-
celebrities that I would give
I
a
don't-
shit if died.
I've never met Ron Bennington or seen him live. I used to listen to Ron and Fez. That's how far
Yeah.
back we're going. He doesn't look healthy.
No, but he's
So I'm saying that could be.
funny. Yeah,
I'm glad you said it now.
yeah,
I
yeah.
once saw him at the stand sitting in his truck outside, and they were just bringing food to his truck.
Smart.
He just sat out there just eating.
I used to love Ron and Fez. I used to
So
love
he
that
didn't just
show.
stand up.
Fez
Like,
is dead.
He didn't just stand up like 20 years, and he just came back and just was a killer.
He was funny. I
Yeah.
only know him on. I don't know his stand up at all.
stand up.
I only know him from
I saw
radio.
him at Patrick Theater. I've seen him a few times when he started.
Yeah,
doing
you were
stand-up
always a
again.
fan.
Yeah, that's my guy.
I agree. I hate it too because everybody doesn't care. There's been like Kobe bothered me a little, but for like 30 seconds, you know what I mean? And then you get like they don't know you. They're not.
And all my people are like underground rappers. Like I'm like when A$AP Rock dies, I'll be upset. Like all my people are people that nobody else is gonna care about. So
And mine, it's really just like
trying to
Eli
think.
Manning.
I don't.
maybe.
Yeah, I don't have anybody that like really. Obviously the Kobe thing because I have a personal.
Yeah, if I don't know you
experience,
personally,
but-
I'm not gonna.
Well, that's my thing. Is I never
crushed.
understood it either. If the people get so like, there's nobody I'm a fan of that much that when they die, I'll.
It's not my family. I don't know.
I would have thought that about David Letterman when his show was on the air because I loved him so much too. But now that he's not, I'm like, yeah,
He's
like,
kind of dead already.
yeah, like
In a way.
I've said goodbye to him already.
Yeah,
And,
we
like,
said-
and
we said our goodbyes.
I haven't even like watched his latest shows because like I used to love how funny he was, and he's not really being funny anymore. He's like interviewing.
Yeah.
Serious interviews.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so I'm
interviews.
He
like,
does great interviews, but there's not as much.
The
comedy
interviews
there.
are good.
yeah, the interviews were good. Yeah, I mean Ron Bennington's the best interview, but yeah, they're good. I'm a good fan. I really
You are.
sell. I sell for people when I'm a fan of theirs.
I don't know who I would. I can't think of any celebrity that I would be really crushed if something happened to him.
Yeah.
I feel
But, like,
bad.
The thing
like,
about
I-
like work, like when Paul Thomas Anderson dies, I'll be upset because there's no more Paul Thomas Anderson movies.
the films. Yeah.
Yeah,
You lose
know,
the work.
You lose
Yeah,
the work.
it's more the work.
Yeah,
or
like,
whatever
man,
they
I
did.
would've, like, yeah, there's a rapper Idea that died, years ago, and he was just brilliant. I just couldn't wait to see what he was going to do, and he died. I'm like, oh,
Like when Patrice died.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
now we have like a wacky time in the country with all these opinions on different. And I would
And
love
everybody-
to hear his
yeah.
input into
It'd
it.
be great.
Because he don't give. He's going to say what he believes, and he's going to be articulate. Like he was an exception.
I love Patrice.
Different. Yeah.
I'm going to be really upset when Pat Cooper dies. I'm going to be really upset. What happened?
I thought Pat Cooper died like 7 years ago. So
Yeah,
I was really surprised.
Yeah, I
'Cause I
know.
was like, Pat Cooper just died.
Pat Cooper and the Iron Sheik in one day.
I know.
I think that Eli Manning might be the only celebrity that
Eli,
would
yeah.
bother me.
Really?
Maybe.
See, but he'll probably live an old age, and by then you won't care. Like,
And you won't care.
life. So
Exactly
if he
what
died
I'm saying.
now, you'd be like,
If he
oh
died
my
now,
God, I can't believe.
think that was the Kobe thing too. Is like he died young
Right.
and like
That was
whatever.
just such a
And he-
sad
I was- he
story.
was
The
my
The
favorite
premature
player.
death. Yeah.
Yeah, and the daughter, and like,
Oh
that's
yeah.
just-
Yeah, it was an awful story.
yeah.
I think it would only be people from when I was young
Yeah.
because it makes you. It's a feeling of mortality.
yeah.
It's like Dr. J dies. I grew up watching basketball in the 70s and 80s with Dr. J. If he died, I'd be
Is that
like,
why you're a Sixers fan?
yes. It's the only
Dr.
reason I'm
J?
a Sixer fan, Dr. J. And then I just stayed a Sixer fan all those years.
Yeah.
Although I just lived in Pennsylvania.
You
I'm
did.
having trouble rooting for anything from the fucking state of Pennsylvania right
Yeah.
now. I'm so over that. So I may have to find another team.
Like, I'll be really upset when Kevin Mitchell dies.
Interesting.
Kevin Mitchell.
Oh, I was about to go.
Like,
the barehanded
like
catch.
my childhood Mets, like my
Yeah.
He made the
when-
barehood catch with San Francisco.
when Mackie Sasser dies, I'll be
Mackie Sasser.
Tim Tuffle dies. We're
Timmy Tuffle.
all going to do the
I'll be torn
Tuffle
apart.
shuffle and then a moment of silence. I always when I write a joke and I try to find like an obscure. It's funny, like I said something. I think I used Louis Soho from the Yankees for
Yeah.
my jokes because you can't pick like a mainstream. It's funnier if
Yeah.
you pick like.
I had like a thing about baseball, and it was Benny Agbayani.
Yeah, that's a good name too. Yeah,
A fun
I have
name.
to update my. I
Obscure.
have an Asian joke. It's not an Asian joke. It's a joke about I watched Dawn's nieces, and they're 5 and 7, but the 5-year-old is very speech delayed. And I'm like, it's like I have a little foreign exchange student in the house. Like I can't understand her, so I have to get the 7-year-old over to come over.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is she saying? My Tegan, what is Meadow saying? And she interprets, and I always go, it's like Hideki Matsui just hit a walk-off. But I don't think anybody knows Hideki Matsui anymore. It's weird.
really?
So there's like, they're like, why don't you say Shoen Otani?
Shohei
I go, because I
Ohtani.
can't pronounce
Shohei
Shoen
Ohtani.
Otani.
I think I told you Shohei.
Yeah, but I
I
can't
probably
say
wasn't the
it.
first one. Shohei Otani.
Yeah.
You're gonna
I'm
get the
gonna-
Mets guys soon. That might be good for you, Senga.
Kodai Senga.
He's not good enough. Nobody knows
Yeah,
him
he's
yet.
not. He's
Not
there
yet. You might be.
If Hideki Matsui, well, if Shohei
Hideki
Ohtani,
Matsui is a good one.
yeah, Matsui is
Yeah.
a good one.
I feel like people would.
For
still
our
know
next
that.
hour on the Adult Baby Comics, please
Yeah, all
send in
right.
your Asian athletes that I can use for my.
All right, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we should do
Yeah,
that.
if you made it this far, thank you.
Yeah, and big thank you to John Ziegler for coming out.
Thank you for having me. This
yeah.
this was good.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I hope you get clips from this one because you didn't get that from the
No,
first.
I'm going to post everything. I have a huge social media presence.
Yeah, he's huge now.
Yeah. All right.